Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I wanted to come in and run my mouth. When I tell y'all, it is so much going on. Like every time I look up, it's something happening. A lot of the conversation has been around Cassie taking the stand at the Diddy trial. I want to kind of tap on that a little bit. It's so much information, though. So I'm trying to narrow it down to the things that I feel like, the important stuff. I'm not going line by line. So I want to tap on that a little bit. And then also, I want to talk about Basketball Wives, the second episode that just came on last night. And then I'm tired on top of that because I only got like a few hours of sleep. I think what it is I went to the gym last night. I'm trying to get back into my fitness. I went to the gym last night and I went really late. Um, and I think the pre workout that I took, it was still, it still had me. Yeah, I was walking around here like a crackhead, baby. And I couldn't go to sleep. And then I took a melatonin around like 6 o'clock, and I was still up. I had to like force myself to like try to go to sleep. I was still up, even with the melatonin that I took around like 9 o'clock. Yes, and I took it around 6, and I was still up. I was like, "This is not gonna work." Um, and so I remember falling asleep. I remember the last time looking at my watch; it was like 9 something. My phone. And then I woke up around 12. Yes. And then I went back to sleep. And then I woke up around like 2. I said, this is a mess. And then I couldn't go back to sleep because all I could think about was like, you need to get up because you need to try to get these stories out because there's so much happening. So, anyways, we're down here, and I wanted to talk about DDG and the Little Mermaid. So, this just hit the internet. This is an exclusive being reported by TMZ.com. So Halle Bailey claims DDG attacked her multiple times, gets restraining order. Before we get into this, I just want to say that I have been screaming from the mountaintop that I believe that DDG ain't about nothing. I remember so many women telling her, do not be involved with that boy, that man. Leave him alone. When people found out she was pregnant, they was like, well, girl, I am not of the belief that just because you were dumb over a man before, that you can't tell the next girl or person what they should do. I believe that if you were a Haley Bailey before, you should be telling the girls based off of your experience, girl, this is probably what's about to happen. I hear some people be like, well, girl, you was dumb before too. Yeah, she probably was dumb, but that gives her every right and the obligation to kind of teach these girls on what they should and should not be doing. Now, don't get it twisted. We all grown. I always say this. I'm grown, you grown, you grown, you grown. So at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I want to do and you're going to do what you want to do. So you can only tell us so much, right? Sometimes the best lesson in life is going through the experience yourself. But, I saw a lot of women trying to tell her, girl, wrong road, wrong road. And so now, unfortunately for her, she had to just experience it herself and find out that the people that were telling her that she shouldn't be involved with this person, I don't want to, we were right. The difference between Halle and Jennifer Williams, though, because we're gonna get into Jennifer Williams in a little bit in the next video, probably, is that this is a 20-something-year-old woman, right? So, you get a pass for being foolish in your 20s. When you 50 and you still a fool, you just a fool. You an old fool. So, anyways, Halle Bailey. I always go between Halle and Haley. I think it's Halle. Halle Bailey says she's had enough of DDG allegedly abusing her. She filed a police report and now she wants court order protection from the father of her child, TMZ has learned. And docs filed Tuesday in LA. She claims things first got physical in January. They broke up back in October, and Halle says DDG came over to pick up their son Halo, and she tried to start a combo with the rapper about a child visitation schedule. As she was buckling Halo into the car seat, she claims DDG grew agitated and repeatedly said, "Get out of my car, bitch." Halle says the baby was crying and she got nervous about DDG leaving with him in such an agitated state. That's when they allegedly started wrestling, with DDG pulling her hair, slamming her face on his steering wheel, and chipping her tooth. Halle says she was in pain and crying, and although that stopped the fighting, she was still worried about Halo, so she remained in the car for the ride over to DDG's house, where she told his family what happened. They also have pictures. I'm going to put the pictures up. What are pictures at? Bring the pictures up. And so you can see one picture. They're showing the bruises on her arm. But that's sad. And then the next picture, they're showing where um, her tooth was chipped. Once they told her, let me go back. Okay, so Haley says that she was in pain and crying, and although that stopped the fighting, she was still worried about Halo, so she remained in the car for the ride over to DDG's house, where she told his family what happened. Once they told her they'd take care of the baby, she left hysterical with bruises on her arm. To go along with her chipped tooth, she attached photos of her alleged injuries and her request for a restraining order. She also alleges DDG creeped her out in March when he showed up at her home. Baby, listen to this. This is one tell you psychotic. When he showed up at her home, entered without permission, went to her bedroom and texted a pic of Haley's empty bed to her, along with the text, "Now I know what you've been on, LOL." Haley says she interpreted the text as DDG accusing her of having sex with other people. 4 days later, she claims he really exploded when he came back to her house. Haley told him, Hallie. Haley. I think it's Hallie. Yeah, I always go back from Hallie and Haley. Hallie told him um, she and the baby were sick and she didn't want Halo to leave home. And she claims that's when he got verbally abusive, smashed her ring camera, and ran away with Haley's phone. As he drove off, she claims DDG threw the phone out of his window and yelled to her, "Go get it, bitch." The incident prompted Haley to go file a police report, and she says she also has ring footage to back up her side of the story. It was also around the time DDG claimed he'd been fighting to see Halo for months. For Haley though, the final straw came just last weekend when she said she was vacationing with Halo and her sister in St. Lucia. She says DDG texted her links to social media posts claiming she was on the island with Brent Fayez. I can't pronounce his last name. Haley replied, Haley replied, "Not with any man here. I wouldn't do that. I have Halo. Please let me enjoy my Mother's Day in peace. I hope you're okay and you feel better soon." So he texts her the links of, I guess, people saying that she was with him. Um, and then he also put in the text, "You think you hurting my feelings when you really just ruining your own image. This is a terrible look, makes you look disgusting and evil. Enjoy your vacation. Happy Mother's Day, but just have the same energy when it's my turn to have him." I'm on the same ish. The judge granted Halle a domestic violence restraining order requiring DDG to stay 100 yards away and gave her permission to take nearly 18-month-old Halo to Italy, where she'll be filming a movie for 2 months. DDG also has stopped posting. I'm sorry. DDG also has to stop posting or streaming about her and their child. Halle claims her ex has been whipping her fans into a frenzy by trashing her when he live streams. We've reached out to DDG's camp. No word back yet. Girl. Remember when he came down to the internet like a few weeks ago talking about the gays? Girl, I don't know why I felt like he was talking about me. He was talking about the gays and how we would never understand. And girl, if he said what he said, girl, it would be considered gay bashing. Girl, say what you say. Girl, you over there knocking bitches upside the head. Girl, you might as well go ahead and say what you got to say about the bones. At this point, it don't even matter. Allegedly, you knocking her upside her head. It's sad. It really is sad. It's sad to see. It's sad to see people. It's sad to see, especially young girls, get involved with these young men, right? Because how old were they when they got together? I think he's a few years older. How old is DDG? I know DDG pushing 30 though. Let's see. DDG is 27 and Halle is 25. And I think they were together. Like I think she had the baby. I think they were together. Like they were together when she was like what 21. So he was what about 23. So they were fairly young, still grown but fairly young when they got together. I don't know the exact age, but it's just sad that for this girl to just be involved in some mess like this. It's just sad. It's sad for anyone, honestly. I think he's trash. I've been telling y'all. My tune ain't changed. I think the nigga is trash. And I think he knows exactly what he's doing. When he comes down to the internet, it's a dog whistle to his fans. And his fans meaning men and women. Because you'll have the women online talking about Haley's trying to keep him from a good black man, Savannah. Right? He'll come down and say, I understand what black men go through. Because I'm going through it too. But you left out the part where you chipped her tooth, nickel. Hopefully Haley's okay. Again, sometimes, and this is for all of us, sometimes we all have to go through experiences ourselves to see that people were right. Again, I don't want to scream, I don't want to be the I told you so, but a lot of people told Haley about that boy, and she didn't want to listen. And so now here we are, right? So hopefully, and we love Haley, but hopefully, y'all can give Haley some encouraging words and let her know, sister, you ain't alone. The girl, it happened to me. Or even if it did happen to you, girl, we've been in situations, now I'm talking about DV, even if it hasn't happened to you. Girl, we've all been in situations with an ain't shit nigga, right? Girl, come on home, sister. We tried to tell you, but come on home. Even if she was over there vacationing with that man, girl, as many times as we've seen DDG later with some bitch, and you got the nerve, the audacity to be mad because she could possibly be moving on. DDG is the same person who was in a relationship with Halle and said out of his mouth that he was texting Ruby Rose or DMing Ruby Rose to basically try to upset Halle. Girl, if you don't hush your mouth, What? But see, this is exactly why you should don't date niggas who jealous of you. Stop letting these niggas use you for clout. Let me be very clear. I don't care what nobody says. DDG, whatever his name is, he might have more money than Haley. But the fact of the matter is, DDG was never a celebrity. I don't care how many followers he has on YouTube. You could be a big YouTuber and only be known on YouTube. You could be a big TikToker and only be known on TikTok. You could be a big chatter, what they call Snapchat, Snapchatter, whatever they call, and not be known. In the world of celebrity, DDG was a nobody. I had never heard of that man, and I'm not making this up. I had never even seen him make the blogs until he actually got with the real celebrity, and that was Haley. Now he's posted nonstop on the blogs. Prior to him being connected to her, I had never heard or seen that man a day in my life. And that is the God honest truth. Haley, we tried to tell your black ass you don't want to. You know what? I was about to get up. Good, Haley, I was about to start. Haley, I'm gonna leave you alone right now because you going through it, and you are a little sister, you are a little cousin, So I'm gonna leave you alone. But I was about to get on your ass, okay? Because we tried to tell you about that nigga. You don't want to listen. Um, it's just sad. It's sad. It's sad because one, I know there are going to be people out there, even with the pictures. You know what it is? People, a bitch gotta be dead in the ground for someone to believe that something happened to her. And even then, if it's a DV situation, people are gonna ask, well, girl, why she stay so long? You could have pictures, Haley can have pictures, show her tooth being knocked out of her mouth, girl, show bruises on her arm, and there will be people out there who will still say they don't believe that it happened. It took for people to see Cassie being stomped in the middle of a motherfucking hallway of a hotel, having a vase thrown at her, getting her ass drugged and beat, for people to finally start to see, oh girl, it might be some truth to him putting his hands on her. But even then, sometimes it doesn't even matter. You can have doctors take a stand and say this person got shot. They'll still say the doctor is lying. You could literally have a kit that says this woman was R. They will still say the woman was an R. You could have evidence, professionals, experts in the field who come and say this happened, and people will say, girl, it's a lie. And this is more than likely a big part of the reason why he has not went the legal route of trying to get custody of his kid. Because like I've been saying the whole time, if Haley was over there being an asshole and not allowing that man to see his kid, see his son, I have no sympathy for DDG, because you have the access, the money, and the resource to go get whatever lawyer you need to get. So if you really wanted to see your son and have 50-50, of your son, then you would do it. It's niggas out here every day who don't have half of what DDG has and have to go through the system to try and see their children. And they make it work somehow. So if they can make it work, a rich ass nigga like DDG, he can make it work too. But now we see why your ass didn't want to go down to the courthouse, because all this shit would have come out. And now the judge done told Haley, you can take your son for 2 months to Italy. And I'm going to grant you a restraining order against that nigga. So let me get up off of here. I'll be back later. All right. Y'all have a good day. Bye, y'all.